All right, so we're going to learn how to do a pattern overlay. You're going to find a photograph of any food that you want to turn into a pattern. I chose the cookie. Go ahead and drag and drop that to your desktop so that we can use that JPEG in Photoshop. All right, go ahead and open up Photoshop. We're going to make something similar to this. I'm going to start a new document. Let's make it 10 inches by 8 inches. I'm doing landscape orientation, 150 pixels per inch, and let's call it your last name dash pattern. All right, double check that you have inches for your dimensions. All right, next, let's open up your pattern. Mine is the cookie, so I'm going to go to File, Open. I dropped it on my desktop, so I'm going to browse my desktop, and I'm going to look for it by name and open it. All right, so you should have two files open. You have your blank white document, and tabbed right next to it, you have your pattern. Mine is the cookie. All right, from here on out, it goes pretty fast. Take a look. We're going to turn this into a pattern, and if I'm going to crop out the white background. If I don't crop out the white background will become part of my pattern. We're going to go get the crop tool. It's 3 tools down on the left. Crop tool. Now when you click on that crop tool, you're going to see these borders around your document. You can pull those borders and cut out or crop some of your image. Now notice I pulled it in and I'm losing some of my cookie. That's okay. I want the whole document to be the cookie only, no white space. And notice that it's sort of graying out the background until you're ready. So you can keep adjusting this until you're happy. When you have cropped out the part you don't want, you're going to click the check mark up here, also known as a tick, or you can click return on your keyboard. And now you've cropped the image. Now keep in mind for future reference, when you crop something, you reduce its dimensions, as if you had a real piece of paper and you cut off part of it. Okay, so you don't necessarily want to crop like this in an artwork unless you want to reduce your file size and get rid of some of the background. All right, next we're going to go to Edit, Define Pattern. Edit, Define Pattern. All right, you're going to get a little pop-up to name your pattern. All right, mine's called chocolate chip cookie. That's fine with me, or you can name it something else and click OK. All right, technically you don't need this file anymore. Let's go back over to your new document. Let's get the type tool. Now remember, we're not going to make a text box. We're just going to click and release to set your cursor and then type your name. Okay, now change your font if you want to. Get that type tool, highlight the text, drop down the font menu, and you can change your font if you want. We're looking for a font that has some surface area. It needs to be bold so that your pattern shows up. All All right, so type your name real big and use a bold font. Okay, next step, I'm going to add a pattern overlay. I'm going to go to Layer, Layer Style, Pattern Overlay. Layer, Layer Style, Pattern Overlay. Okay, your layer style box is going to pop up. If you don't see the pattern overlay menu, click on the words pattern overlay on the left. The words. All right, now where it says pattern right here, you can drop that down and the last picture should be your new pattern. Go ahead and click on it. All right, so that's my pattern. Now you can increase or decrease the scale of the pattern. Take a look. If I increase it, it's zooming in or zooming out. Notice that if your pattern was sort of small, it's actually going to create a duplicating pattern. Do you see how mine has that line right there? It's because the image was too small and it's duplicating it. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit to get rid of that. Okay, next, don't click OK. Let's add some more layer styles. I want this to look 3D. I'm going to click on the words Bevel and Emboss on the left. Remember, if I click on the words, then I get the menu for Bevel and Emboss. All right, now I can play around with the style, like outer bevel or inner bevel. I can increase or decrease the depth of the bevel, the size. Okay, add some more stuff. Play around. Maybe you want to add a stroke. We know a stroke makes an outline. And remember, if you want to see the menu change, click on the word of the blending option. All right, so right now I've got a brown stroke. What if I wanted to make this more pop art and give it a, I don't know, pink stroke, magenta stroke? All right, how about a drop shadow? I'm going to click on the words drop shadow to get my drop shadow menu. All right, so you typed your name, you added your new pattern overlay, and then you gave it some more layer styles. Like I have the bevel and emboss, a stroke, and a drop shadow. Okay, from here, you can save this with your layers if you want as a PSD to your Google Drive so that you can edit this later if you want. Next, you're going to flatten it, layer, flatten image. All right, that got rid of all of our layers. Next, you're going to save it as a JPEG. File, save as. I'm going to choose save on computer. I'm going to choose desktop. And then save as type, I'm going to choose JPEG. Remember, JPEG is what you submit to the Google Classroom. All right, make sure to upload this to your Google Drive and then submit to Google Classroom assignment.